The FV-214 Conqueror, also known as Tank Heavy No. 1 120mm gun, Conqueror, was a British heavy tank of the post-war era. It was developed as a response to the Soviet Joseph Stalin IS-3 heavy tanks. Its 120mm gun was larger than the 20-pounder gun carried by its peer, the Centurion. The Conqueror's role was to provide long-range anti-tank support for the Centurion. Conquerors were issued at 9 for each regiment in Germany, usually grouped in 3 tank troops. Design and development. The chassis was from the A-45 infantry support tank, which project was started in 1944 shortly after that of the A-41 Centurion. After the war, the project was relocated to that of the universal tank design of the FV-200 series. The 200 series was to have used a common hull for all uses. One tank type was to be the heavy FV-201 of 55 tons, armed with an 83.4mm gun. In 1949, it was decided to bring the armament up to 120mm. This delayed the project. In 1952 the FV-201 hull was combined with a 17-pounder armed Centurion Mk2 turret to give the FV-221 Carnarvon Mark I. 21 were built with the Mk3 20-pounder turret as the Carnarvon Mk2. The FV-221 may originally have been intended to be the main battle tank member of the FV-201 series, but with the success of the A-41 Centurion such a vehicle was no longer required. In either event, the Carnarvon was only used for chassis development work, serving in troop trials. In 1955, the first Conqueror was produced. 20 Mark Chapter 1 and 165 Mark Chapter 2 Conquerors were built, including conversions of Carnarvon MKIs. Production continued until 1959. It lost much tactical relevance once the Centurion was upgraded to an L7 105mm gun. The new, larger caliber gun design was American, the same as used on the US M103 heavy tank, with separate charge and projectile, as would also be the case in the Chieftain that followed. The charge was not bagged but in a brass cartridge, which offered some safety advantages, but reduced shell capacity to 35. The armor was very heavy for the time, especially in the front, where it was 7 inches in the horizontal plane. Unfortunately, this, along with the weight of the huge turret required to house the large gun and the very large hull volume, made the vehicle very heavy, giving it a relatively low top speed and making it mechanically unreliable. Also, few bridges could support its weight. However, rather like the Second World War Churchill tank, the Conqueror had exceptional terrain handling characteristics and proved to be as capable cross-country as the lighter Centurion tank. One feature of particular note was the rotating commander's cupola, which was at the heart of the Conqueror's fire control system and was advanced for its time. The commander could align the cupola on a target independently of the turret, measure the range with a coincidence rangefinder, and then direct the gunner onto the new lay mechanically indicated to him by the cupola. In theory, when the gunner traversed to the new lay, he would find the target already under his sights, ready to be engaged. Meanwhile, the commander was free to search for the next target. Variants. The variants of the Conqueror tank and developments directly related to its development are FV-214 Conqueror MKI Mk2, Mk2IH, rebuilt Carnarvons, FV-215B. Design study of Conqueror chassis with limited traverse turret mounting 183mm gun. Wooden mock-up produced. FV221 Carnarvon MKI. Prototype Mk2. Experimental Series. 21 built. FV222 Conqueror Armored Recovery Vehicle Mki-8 produced. Mk220 produced. Weight 57 tons. Winch capacity 45 tons. Operators: United Kingdom 1955 to 1966. Deployed in West Germany only. Surviving vehicles. In the United Kingdom, Conqueror tanks are displayed at the Tank Museum, Bovington, and the Land Warfare Hall of the Imperial War Museum, Duxford. Other tanks are in the collections of the Musée des Blindés in France, the Royal Museum of the Army in Brussels, and the Kubinka Tank Museum, Russia. One is privately owned in the United States as part of the Littlefield collection. There are also two MKI-ARVs at the Military History Museum on the Isle of Wight in an unrestored condition. A MKI-ARV is held by the Rheims Museum of Technology, although it is not on display. There was formerly a Conqueror Gate Guardian at Base Vehicle Depot Lodgers Hall, informally known as William. It is now a part of the Isle of Wight Military Museum. A Conqueror ARV remained in service at the Amphibious Experimental Establishment AX at Instow in North Devon, UK. It was used for beach tank recovery practice. At least one Conqueror exists in poor condition on the grounds of the former Kirkcudbright training area in Scotland, where it was used as a gunnery target. A number of Conquerors remain on the Halton training area in Germany.